Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Hear2Listen podcast. Today I'm joined with Adam and Max as usual.
Easy.
Hello.
Hello, and we haven't got Leon today unfortunately, but that is some good news that we'll probably share with you when he does come back on the podcast. But today we're actually joined by Joe Tutt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, who is a local restaurant owner here in Biggleswade, and we're going to, ask some questions about some of the things that he got up to before he started the business and how he's a successful business owner now, really. So do you want to start and explain what your business is, what you do?
So my business, I've got an Italian restaurant and recently turned it into a bit of a bar as well. And then it's been taken away from us again yesterday, funnily enough.
We will get to that.
Hang on, what's going on with all the food?
Food's staying for now.
So you're not going to, I thought you
Until
might
they
have
let
had
us
a
close at
boatload
6,
full
then
that you was
might
going to
not-
let us eat or something today.
But I should have bought some with me, shouldn't I?
I did think that you was going to do that. Didn't you not? We did. We
No,
did.
we did, honestly. So last week they said about you bringing in a pizza, all having a little share. Thought it'd be a great idea, but then I was busy I actually emailed you 2 weeks ago, thought I'd got back to you, but I hadn't. So then I'd responded, but then I was out of the office for like 7 days straight. He was getting on to me and I thought, yeah, I'll get on to it.
Want some food. That's all I wanted.
But then we had 2 days out of the office, which was Monday, Tuesday, and then I thought, there's no way I can message him in the morning and be like, Joe, you got to bring us in a pizza. 'Cause it was a bit last minute. And
Bought it uncooked.
then you said you was having some issues at work, and I was thinking, nah, I definitely can't ask him now.
Could have built your own one, bought the toppings and just have a little buffet.
Yeah, shut it. And then we've got a
Next
little
time,
microwave
that's
oven.
episode 2 of the the sequel. It'll be the
We'll
sequel.
do a review on the pizza.
Oh, yes, live review.
I got a pizza topping for you though. Oh, pineapple and pepperoni is my favourite. What do you think about pineapple and pizza?
I'm not against pineapple.
Good.
I'm not against it.
Good.
One of your 5 a day is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we
You
should
get it
tell
in
the
there.
listeners, though, what sort of food and restaurant that you run. Although you're not
Italian.
able to fully do that at the moment, as you've just told us, you've been made aware that things are going to start changing again. But what is it?
Yeah, so it's an Italian restaurant. We're in the high street in Biggleswade. It's called Nonno Joe's. Means Grandad Joe's. People think it's named after me because I'm Joe, but my granddad was actually called Joe. His original name was Generoso, but when he moved to England, it was a bit of a mouthful, so they started calling him Joe.
See, that annoys me
named
straight
after
away.
him.
Sorry, but the fact that people have to change their name to suit other people. Like, how many times have we seen that on programme? People shorten their name and be like, just call me Lala or something, when it's actually something completely different. It's like, no, I'd make people actually be able to say my name, so I'm not changing
I get it, but what if he likes Joe?
What if he did?
You like Maximus. Your name's Max.
I lengthened mine.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same. You're actually making it worse.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind
anyway.
of glad because the sign would have probably cost me a lot more. But so worked out in the end, really.
And how long's it been running?
So we had a takeaway for 4 years
Yeah.
initially. We opened that in 2014, and then our lease came to an end. We was in Abbott's Walk, which is just near
I remember.
Asda.
Yeah, I do. Remember.
And lease came to an end, so it was a case of what do we do now? We've got to move somewhere, or we carry on as we were. So took a punt and upscaled and went for the restaurant. Been doing that for 2 years now. So all in all, it's been going about 6 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Abbott's Walk, I remember that was the first one on the right-hand side if you're coming from the Asda side, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, the sort of shop there.
Yeah, it was.
How expensive is them shops in Abbott's Walk? Because they're tiny, aren't they?
It's
pricey.
a lot. It's a lot of money, and that's why we moved in the end. Because for food, it's, when you're on the way to Asda, it's kind of people are going to Asda. It's not you're getting a lot of footfall, but it doesn't really equate to sales, so it was not worth it for what it was. So it was good for building the name, and then going from there and moving up. It's done as good in that sense, but for what it was, probably it's a bit much for that kind of thing, I reckon.
Because it's quite a small space you had, weren't it?
It's tiny.
Because isn't Nixie's? Is it Nixie's restaurant?
Nuxie's, Nuxie's is there now.
So yeah, I go in there and I feel like to produce food in such a small space is actually really good. But so we've already spoke about this before off camera. But I went to Stratton Upper School. Joe was actually a PE teacher for me at one point in my life. You weren't like my full-on PE teacher, but I think you was for like, basically I was in the group of PE students that didn't take PE.
Oh,
right, so I was in the people that just couldn't kick a ball. You know, I was with that group, and we probably messed around quite a bit. But what made you want to take the leap from being a teacher in a school? Was that something you always wanted to be?
Well, it was a weird sort of progression for me, really. Like I've obviously looked into what you guys do here and the NCS side of things and that, and it's very similar to what I did before I worked at Stratton. So I worked for a company called PGL.
Oh yeah.
You might know what they do. It seems, from what I can tell, what NCS does is very similar. It's
Very similar.
Quite linked in many ways. I was like probably a lot of the kids or young adults that join the NCS scheme and do that sort of thing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So when I left school, I went and worked in Nationwide. It was like banking and stuff. And I was doing okay there, but it weren't for me. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I left and went and worked at PGL, basically summer camp, have a laugh, work with mates and, you know, won't go into the rest of it. But, and I did that for 2 years. Then I was living in Surrey doing it, and I wanted to come back this way, and sort of the only way I could see getting a half decent job coming back was to look at school jobs. So I saw the one come up at Stratton, cover supervisor. I thought, oh, go for it. I was working at PGL. I actually got quite a lot of qualifications there when they put me through a lot of things, and I went for it on a whim and actually got the job. So it surprised me, and at the same time I'd got another banking job offered to me as well, but I thought, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go back
again.
So I took the lesser money and went for the fun job, and I loved my time at Stratton, which sort of paved the way for the restaurant, which sounds really bizarre, but it all came from the Pasta King at lunchtimes. They used to wheel out this little trolley, and it was... I
remember Pasta King.
It was like this horrible sloppy pasta with some sauce dumped on it.
I never got it.
But it was so popular. And it was so popular. Queues out the door every time. And I thought, what? There's no one's buying a sandwich. They're all getting this pasta. Why is, like, maybe that could work on the high street. And they sort of mulled it over and over and over. And eventually it got the better of me. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to try and do this. So with my family being Italian as well, it kind of helped. So I went and spoke to them and was like, how can we get this off the ground? My parents also owned a business and they know how to do that side of it. So we went all in and just opened the takeaway up. But what we initially thought was the lunch trade would do well, because we looked at Bigos.
I was just about to say, you must have compared being right on your doorstep as well, because that's
it. Bigos,
smashed it, didn't they?
It's a staple of the town, really. They're an amazing business, and thought it could be something like that. But I then found, like, I was doing more business between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. at night than I was the whole day. So eventually it changed its sort of ethos and method and led on to what it is now, really, I guess.
Yeah. Nice. Thing is, it's all trial and error when you're jumping into something like that. It is a gamble anyway. And you mentioned like Abbott's Walk. I can imagine the person that you was renting from at the Abbott's Walk selling you that place with all the foot flow and all that sort of stuff, because it is a busy pathway through to Asda. But just because you got that foot flow, like you say, if someone's not going down that way to eat, they're not going to eat. So that must have been a challenge, but there's something that I suppose you had to do in order to find out how it's going to work. You can't just second guess whether it's going to be successful there or not.
So absolutely.
How did you make the decision to get your place right next to Domino's? Was that a conscious decision to say, I'm going to steal these customers?
No.
Or was it just coincidence?
Well, not really, because Domino's opened when I had the takeaway.
Yeah.
And obviously, when I just had the takeaway business, it was direct head-to-head competition almost. But when they opened, it didn't make any difference.
Really? Nice.
No, it was kind of... They're similar, but they're also so different, you know.
I look at Domino's
like
as like...
Certain people like us.
Yeah, yours is like the healthy option of pizza and stuff like that, whereas Domino's, and I get it. Honestly, every time I eat it
just looks
I get
like
a large.
attack.
Yeah, I finish it and I sit there and I feel horrible, like my stomach is hurting and I'm just laying there and I probably fall asleep at 9:30 because I'm so full. Whereas if I do have one of your pizzas, I don't feel like that. You know, it's not greasy, it's nice and thin.
I said to Emily, before we started, I said, if the healthiest pizza I've ever eaten, whether it is the healthiest, but for taste-wise and for the feeling after,
Just because it's got fruit on it, Max, pineapple doesn't.
I don't even have pineapple on it, actually. I have the egg one with the egg in the middle. What's that called? Fiorentina or something?
Oh, yeah.
Is it something like that?
We call it Casanova.
They
It's like
name it something different just
nice
to
name.
confuse
It's a
things.
nice.
One other thing that really intrigues me about like starting your own business is the element of starting from scratch, and like there's a million different directions you can go. Like you talked about having advice from your family as well. Maybe there's a bit of direction there, and like even down to like one of the things that fascinates me is like the construction of your restaurant itself, because I understand there's a lot of psychology behind that and shapes and colours and just so much goes into it before you've even got to the food side of things. Like, did you take any of that in consideration?
Well, yeah, or you do have to. I mean, we started playing with logos and artwork and designs, colour schemes, like long before we even had a lease in place, and sort of had something ready to go. And as it's gone on, you realise what's tired, what needs addressing, and we've just done a refurb on the restaurant. And my manager, Tasha, who's done all of it, she's just like a guru at decor, and she's just changed it all. We knew it needed to be done, but when we opened it, it was such a nightmare with building, and it took so long to get open. It got to a point where when it came to the decorating bit and putting the finishing touches, it was like, we can't afford to lose any more time. We've just got to get some paint on the wall and go for it. And then from that point, being open almost 7 days a week, you just don't get time to do it how you want to.
Get to do it?
And if you close, you're losing
money,
fortune. You know, it's very
especially
difficult.
with the current situation as well. A lot of people have lost money. You must have seen an impact on the restaurant and stuff because of all the stuff that's been going on, or not?
Not so much. I know some people have struggled with it, but I think because we had the takeaway so established before that, when lockdown happened, everyone's gone, our only luxury is getting a takeaway. There was literally nothing else. So because we had quite a good name in the takeaway market, it's a bit less competitive than the restaurants. There's loads of places to go out and eat different things, but takeaways you're quite limited. So with that, it played into our hands a bit, and we went on to Just Eat as well just before the lockdown happened. So we used that to build up a lot of new customers that might not have otherwise known we're there or ever tried it.
How does that work, like the Just Eat? So what do they get out of that?
Like, it's just an online ordering platform. We pay them a percentage of the sale, and they're basically an interface for someone to place an order with us. That's all it is.
So that is it. They don't do the delivery or nothing like that. It's all delivered by you guys still.
Yeah, I think in like the cities and that, they've got delivery sort of services connected you can use, but then they charge you so much it probably isn't
worth it. Yeah,
isn't worth having it, because you don't make as much from the deliveries. You got packaging, you got delivery drivers. You can only do so many an hour because distances. So delivery is quite a tough thing. So I think when the restaurants that didn't have a takeaway initially and have gone and tried to do takeaway, they found it really hard to translate their menu onto it, and you know, certain things they do, like Sunday lunch, you can't really deliver that. It's gonna, you know, soggy potatoes, veggies gonna be mashed by the time it gets there. It's so people having to adapt overnight. I think they've found it really hard. Whereas like we already had it in place, so it's not been too bad for us. We obviously had to cut staff back and furlough people, and you know, that was a blessing having the furlough. But since it's been back, it's people who are wanting to go out. The eat out schemes help people get back to a bit of confidence as well. So it's not been too bad.
How many can you sit in the restaurant? How many can you actually get seated?
Usually we'd get about 48.
But now?
Now 36. I think we could do it a push. So it's not that bad, but we've had the garden as well. So
that looks really nice actually. I saw the picture you put up there.
So we've done up the garden as well. So we've had people out in the garden, which obviously people feel a lot safer outside as well. And when we'll take a finite number of bookings, but we don't book the garden. So when it's a nice day, people that were booked inside will go and sit outside. It's all spaced out and it's quite nice. But when it's coming up for winter and that, we won't have that luxury, and it's a bit more tighter. So we've had to cut back a couple more tables, and it's getting a little bit tighter now. But and the 10 p.m. curfew's a little bit tricky. But
who eats at like after 10 though? Like I'm someone that I've got to be done and dusted food wise by 7. Like
I mean, for us, we just opened as a cocktail bar on Friday and Saturday nights as well. So when the restaurant closes, we've got a late license till 1, and that was just picking up, doing really well, and then boom, so it's now gone. Yeah.
It is. It's
So-
like it really stresses me out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even really fully. It does. It affects, I think, most people's work and stuff, and it has. We've all had to change and adapt, like you say. Some of us overnight in different aspects, but
That's the whole reason we're doing this.
yeah, this is why. This is
Yeah.
actually half the reason why we do podcasts now, is because we actually couldn't do what we initially set out on, have done for the last 6 years of running NCS, or however long Hear2Listen has been doing it, but it's just not been the same. But it's those knock-on effect, the impacts and stuff that you don't think about, that we often forget about. We solely think about what we've had to change and all the rest of it, but even just thinking about those people, the restaurants that have actually just started doing takeaways, because if they didn't do that, like you say, they've never done it before, they've just had to do it, because if they didn't, they'd have nothing coming in. So there's a lot of change up, but frustrating as well. Like, so is it going to be table service? It's in the restaurant now, it's literally the way that I've heard.
Yeah.
It's just, you come in, sit at a table, every waiter, waitresses will come over. There's no walking around mixing.
Yeah, so basically now all those things that previously were probably considered more of a courtesy are now compulsory. So things like, for a customer coming in now, they have to wear a mask. They have to sign in.
Yeah.
If they get up to go to the toilet, they've got to put a mask on. So it's quite strict now.
Yeah.
Before it was a bit like, doesn't really, I can get away with it if I don't want to. Or
At what point do you make people aware of that? Is that on the phone when they book it, or as they come in? Or
we've done it on social media channels. We've got signage up, and we've just tried to make it easy for people. Like scan the QR code. It's like put your email and your phone number and your name in or something.
Oh, for the track and trace.
Yeah,
thing.
so that's quite simple to do. Wearing a mask, I mean, it's all over the news. So I'm hoping people will check what they're doing, but there'll be a sign on the door if not, and we'll just politely ask people.
Have you had any issues with that?
No, to be honest.
None?
No. I mean, I've told my staff not to challenge people. I think up to this point, it's like, it's not their, it's about people being courteous, I think.
Yeah.
And if they say to someone, oh, you need to put your mask on, and they're exempt or whatever, it's just a battle that I don't think is fair on them to have. So I haven't said to them to have to do that. I'm just hoping people are courteous enough to recognise that staff member, most of them are like, 18, 19-year-old girls. They don't want the battle. It's not fair. So
and the thing is, you could sit there and argue. You could like get on that warpath, and you're never actually going to get to a definite answer. If the person's adamant they don't need a mask or shouldn't be wearing a mask, you're just fighting a battle. You're not going to win, so it's pointless. And also putting yourself in a situation where someone could kick off. I've seen a few people kick off.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do like what we're told to do, and we've spoke about this before. Like, if even if in my mind, and this is me speaking, my opinions now, I don't think that actually that's going to stop anything happening to me other than stopping me from breathing how I should be breathing. But I still do it, and I'll put it on when I'm in the shops, and if I went to a restaurant, I'll wear it to make other people feel safe. It's the guidelines, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've not been to a restaurant or anything like that since lockdown. I'd actually be quite nervous going to a restaurant, especially now having to sit there with a mask. Is it in between meals, or can you take it off when you get to the table?
Yeah, when you get to the table, you take
between
it off.
every
It's just if
mouthful.
you-
That's the image I get.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, that True Geordie, I watched that True Geordie podcast, and he was saying that he was in Starbucks last week or something, and between every mouthful, if he didn't put his mask up, he was getting people come over to him going, you need to put your mask on before each mouthful.
So I wouldn't even go in. I wouldn't even go in.
Just like, that's just a bit much. It's a little bit much, surely.
Yeah.
It's like, I couldn't do that.
Do you know what's a good idea? Getting some painting on a blue mask, and then that's it. Just no one will know, will they?
Yeah, might do. Shave my beard though. I'll have to shave it.
See, that is an
That
issue.
is the main.
That is an
main
issue.
It
Like,
does my
you
head
wear a
in.
mask, but it does nothing for you.
Well, that's it. That's what I mean.
Well, actually, that's a lie. Do you know what? It probably protects things going in, but it definitely doesn't protect things going out. If you're coughing, it's just going out your beard.
Have you ever tried coughing in a mask? It's like death by cough. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not nice. Seeing Adam
I
talking
know.
earlier, he was breathing
I
in
was
it.
waterboarding myself. I
Yeah,
know.
it's getting sucked into his mouth.
Yeah, it takes for getting used to. But yeah, I mean, respect to like you in adapting to everything, and perhaps like you said, like you had an advantage of coming across some of this before and a bit of preparation, all that kind of thing. And like you're saying before about it being a luxury, and it's a thing that like people were probably crying out for. And the food thing, I think, is a big thing that I definitely got into when I was like early lockdown. Was like, that's because I got denied like my social life and my hobbies and all that sort of stuff, that food became the thing. Food became like, God, the amount of ice cream I had. Geez,
They haven't been
Oh,
talking
they are
about
Ben
that.
and
in the early
Jerry's.
days, I was just hammering it, because it was like it felt like at the time it genuinely felt like the only pleasure. It was weird, like just that sense, and that moment where like your favourite restaurant closes, gutted, and then it opens. It's like, we got to get in there. Do you know what I mean? I can imagine that like mindset of.
I mean, during the lockdown bit, we closed quite early for takeaway, really, because it's just, I don't know, we've tried being open late before, and it's just not really worth it. So we shut at 9 on the takeaway, and we were going out afterwards to we'd just drive somewhere, because we're finishing earlier. We've got a couple of hours, we'd drive like Milton Keynes or something, open up like a Just Eat app or something, and go, what's around here? What's the best one? We'll try it, so we can like compare ourselves to what we're up against as well. So I've had so many takeaways. It's crazy. I put about 2 stone on
That's
the thing.
that's an interesting thing as well. Like when do you call it? Do you know, that intrigues me, because there's like, if as a business owner, if you're going to kind of go out, you're thinking, oh, we're out, we could get that phone call, and like, how did you manage all that?
It's all trial and error.
Yeah.
It's all trial and error. I think that's probably part of the reason why a lot of people say it takes 3 to 5 years for like a business to start making a profit, because you don't know what you're going to get. You can have the best business model in the wrong town and it won't work, or vice versa. You could be in the perfect town where, you know, it's affluent, everyone's spending loads of money, and you just got it slightly wrong. It's tricky. You just have to adapt to your surroundings. And I think also a lot of people are very set in their ways of, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to do my idea, nothing else. Don't listen to feedback and don't change things to the audience. Whereas we've tried to take on board what we've heard over the years and adapt it to what people actually want, rather than initially what we'd set out to do. It's like, it's vastly different. Yeah. You know, it was going to be a lunchtime thing, and I was never going to do pizzas. Never. That was never a plan.
No, the top selling one is the pizza, the top sellers, are they?
That's it, yeah,
No
pizzas
way.
go crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I go, that is what I get. I did used to get the, I can't remember what it's called. It's the red pasta. That's all the only way. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Can I have the red pasta,
I'm pretty
please?
sure that's what I say on the phone. I'm like, yeah, the tomatoey red pasta. And they're like, yeah, that one. I'm like, yeah, it's that one. But I have to go for a pizza now every single time. It has to be done. They're just so good. Like, say you eat it and you just feel good afterwards. When can you eat a pizza and actually feel like you've eaten something
These
decent?
two moaned at me earlier because I said the one thing I'd moan about is just to get way too much. And they're like, what, you're complaining about getting too much. It's like, but I've always got loads left over at the end because I can't handle it. Because the tubs of pasta are huge.
You did.
Like, I did say it. It's like, yeah, but you're moaning about getting too much. Like, that's
I
just
said,
stupid.
imagine like you
moan
eat
about
it and you're not full when you finish it, then you can moan.
Yeah,
right? 'Cause
I
then
know.
you're like, oh, well, that wasn't a good portion. But when you got too much, that's just...
And like, when I say it out loud, I can fully appreciate like, that it's not really a moan, is it? It's like, and I do often like give it to the neighbours or something because
the dogs.
Yeah. No, not the dogs. No, it's the poor people next door. Oh, do they listen? No, they don't. That was my old neighbours anyway. I've moved town now.
On the subject of portions as well, I was wondering if there'd been any adaptations to like modern thinking around, like, you know, we're getting larger as a society. There's kind of obesity, you know, carbs has been kind of singled out as one of the main factors in that, and sugar and all, you know, stuff that I imagine restaurants thrive upon. Has there been any modifications or?
Not really. I mean, the only significant one's been the sugar tax.
A tax?
The sugar tax came in like, what was it, a year or two ago.
I thought that was just for like, you know, monster drinks and things like that.
Yeah, so on Coke, and it's only really on Coke and lemonade for us. It's not on anything else really. Yeah, to be honest, no, it hasn't really affected us because I think we're seen as more of a healthier sort of thing anyway. So it's not too bad. I think when in Biggleswade, where you're up against like kebab shops and Indians, it's not really too much of an issue because they're always going to look worse. You know, a kebab is...
Yeah.
You wiped your competition out, didn't you?
As bad as it can get in terms of fat and grease as far as people see it, I think. So
I used to love Ask. I used to love Prezzo's. This guy ran him out of town. I
don't know about that.
But to be fair, it did close. Maybe not when you come out, but it did start going downhill. I used to go into Ask or Prezzo's, whenever it was, and I'd go in at like 8 o'clock on a Friday evening, and there'd be like 4 people in there. I'm like, this is a huge building. It's got like massive ceiling, all that. And then I saw a Facebook post saying like 200 over UK.
So those two examples are like your big ones, aren't they?
They're in the same place. First it was us,
like national. Or, as opposed to like a family restaurant.
Because that was a franchise. Yeah, and then you've got a sole trader. But so I mean, you've done really well to actually come up against them, and I'd like to say you won. They're not here. You're still standing.
Hopefully it carries on, but
yeah, man.
I don't like to see anywhere closed because of the jobs loss in losing.
Yeah.
But like you do want to survive. If anyone saying who isn't pleased that their rivals closed is a liar.
Definitely.
It's better for us in a way, but I'd love to have that building though.
Oh, it's wicked. It is awesome.
It is an amazing building.
The only issue I've got...
Nightclub or something, surely.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be, surely.
But have you ever gone up to the toilets on the second floor?
Wall.
My God, nah. I used to go up there.
Because everyone knows, don't they? Oh, he's going for a toilet.
Not just that.
How long's he in there for?
I used to struggle to find the doors.
Oh, yeah, because they've got no handles.
There's no handles, and they all look the same. So I'm like,
that's so true, actually.
feeling along the wall, like, where the hell am I going to get in?
That's how bad the food was. The only thing we can remember about it is the toilets.
They used to do a cheesecake in there that... Banging.
Yeah.
25 quid a cake though. If you buy it off the website for £25 and you get like 6 slices, it's a rip off. But I was paying like £4.80 a slice anyway, so I guess it was cheaper.
Yeah.
You mentioned the size of the building there, a bit of envy coming in, I felt as well.
Yeah.
And I wonder with restaurants as well, whether you either have this mindset of like, yeah, we're doing fine, you never know what's around the corner, so we don't want to kind of breach out or take too many risks sort of thing. But is there any like ambitions that you've got or any sort of future plans that you've got with the restaurant?
Absolutely. We've been thinking about it a lot during the lockdown actually, and about expanding the takeaway side of things. Mainly because it was clear that it was quite a safe option. We felt like during lockdown the popularity of it showed that we probably got a few things right with it, and maybe that was worth exploring, opening that, because it's sort of lower overheads to branch that out than it would be to open a full restaurant. And in comparison, the workload for running a restaurant compared to just a takeaway is insane.
Yeah, I bet.
It's full on. There's loads of moving parts. Takeaway was fairly simple, really. There's a lot of places popping up now. I think they call them like dark kitchens, where someone just opens like in a warehouse. They put a vent in and a cooker, and they go from there, and they do quite well. They don't see anyone. It's just all online. Boom, order placed, take the food, and they're renting a warehouse is
like you say, though, who's gonna like look at those options and go, look, we could take a risk, we get a nice big building and do this, but actually, especially with the current situations that the world's facing at the minute, this pandemic and that,
people coming
it's
in.
a big gamble to be getting overheads like that from getting a building and a premises. If you can do it as a takeaway with less outgoings, like you're gonna do it, surely.
Yeah, it's a
that's the way
no-brainer.
that it's all going to be going soon. Let's be honest. It's looking like
the restaurants will never go though. Like, you're always going to go out to restaurants. There'll be always people going out to restaurants because it's something to do, isn't it?
Yeah, no, there will always be restaurants, but it's whether you can sustain the payments and keep it going. If there's not business coming in, like you've seen some of the other ones.
Yeah, if it locks down and
that
things
one
like that.
That one where Prezzo's was, or Ask, for example.
Yeah.
The size of that, you look at what you was paying. I don't know what you was paying down Abbott's Walk, but Abbott's Walk, how much bigger than this room was Abbott's Walk?
Yeah. It's probably about the same size.
About the same size.
Yeah.
Ask is like 15 of these, 20 of these.
Yeah.
The costing of that sort of place, like, that is a huge gamble.
Yeah, that's probably why they couldn't
shut
handle it, because it is such a big building, isn't it? And Biggleswade, although there is a lot of customers, if you're not getting all of them, then you're probably not going to be able to pay for that building. That's why I always thought UK Fried Chicken, the one on the corner, down by the wreck, huge building, probably got like 30 tables in there.
And staff.
No, but not even staff though. Like, there'd be like 3 or 4 guys working behind it, and I go in there and it's usually empty. There's no one sitting at the tables and chairs, and that had been running for like 8 to 10 years, like since I can remember. And I was thinking, how are they still going?
Yeah.
Money laundering.
No. I was going to just go cover up or something, but you just come out with like money laundering.
No, I don't know why, but it
if you're
just confuses
listening,
me.
Owners of UK Fried Chicken, we're only joking. Come and have
It's
a
shut down.
podcast.
It's shut down. It's moved.
Yeah, it's just changed.
Might have to bleep the name out then, but
I'll be crying. The meal too is just amazing.
Oh, the Meal 2 chicken
Chicken
burger.
burger meal too.
Yes,
It's classic.
that's what I get
It is
every
classic,
time I go in there.
Biggleswade legend.
That's been about, I reckon it's been about 8 years since I've had one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've gone off them. I go for the USA chicken, or is it USA fried chicken or something in Sandy.
Oh, yeah,
and they deliver to Biggleswade, and I swear to God, their chicken burgers, the chicken in it is fat, and it tastes like proper chicken. I don't know if it is, I'm not a chicken connoisseur, but it tastes like chicken.
Does it look like chicken?
It looks like chicken.
That's always a
right
good
then,
thing when
yes.
you order a chicken burger, I guess.
Yeah. Well, do you ever get a chicken burger and it comes out on a perfectly round slab like that, and it's perfectly flat on the top and the bottom?
Yes.
That is not real
It's
chicken.
not right,
Can't have that.
At least needs to look a bit knobbly and a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's natural.
Being like an owner of a restaurant and being able to cook and so you can cook. Obviously, do you do some of the cooking? Or
I used to, yeah. In the takeaway, I did.
too many
vast
complaints, so you got
majority
an
of it.
actual.
Yeah, just going under. I just knew I couldn't really expand it if I was still cooking,
Doing it,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
knew there's people out there that are better than me. In
Yeah.
the takeaway, it was obviously, fast paced, lower price, quick hit sort of thing. In the restaurant, we've upped the quality massively, and got proper chefs in. They've modified everything, redone the whole menu from the ground up, and it's a lot better now.
That's something that interests me. Like I've enjoyed watching on YouTube the Gordon Ramsay ones where he like goes into a restaurant and he like kind of picks it apart. But I really enjoy watching someone who's got like an entire lifetime devoted to a certain subject and can inform people about what the best thing is to do. And one of the things that stands out often is like doing like a certain thing really well, like because he'd gone into restaurants and they'd got like everything in there, absolutely everything. You know? And what would you say, like you've chosen to sort of go down your niche of like, this is what we really do well, this is our unique selling point here?
I mean, for us, I guess it's the takeaway still stands out. It's always been our unique thing is the fact that we had the takeaway first. It's still, I think, by a lot of people seen only as a takeaway. I'm not even sure some even know we've got the restaurant. But I think what we've done is we took authentic dishes, made them a bit more suitable for like the English palate. We tried to change it. We try not to be an authentic
examples of that, just to what do you mean?
Examples, like pizzas in an Italian restaurant, you'd never see a barbecue base. We would, we do barbecue base. We put crazy toppings on things. Try to be a bit different. Our tagline's not your typical Italian now. Because there's so many of the same thing. We've tried to step away from that and try and do something that gives us a sort of a license to go, if we want to do that, we can.
Experiment, get
crazy
creative.
Idea. Yeah, we want to try and, push a few boundaries and do things a little bit differently. At the moment, that sounds silly because we're on quite a limited menu because of the coronavirus and that. We've slimmed down the menu so because the takeaway's still so busy because some people still aren't going out. So to streamline everything, we've just done a smaller menu. Whereas like at Christmas we do a Christmas pizza, we do a gravy base on it and stuffing, turkey, cranberry sauce, Brussels sprouts.
Serious.
Like you don't see things like that. So we kind of like using our roots and then building up from there in in an English world because Biggleswade's very British and people don't seem to there's a lot of it's quite a cultural place now, but people are also very set in their ways and they know what they like. They'll go to the chippy on Friday at
used to be a Friday
every time. They'll get the same thing.
That's why there was Friday's Fish Bar, because it was that popular on a Friday.
Friday,
They
we called
named
it
Friday's Fish
That's
Bar.
it.
Bad Miles Bar.
It's just so we just tried to give ourselves a license to do something a bit different. If there's thousands of Italian restaurants out there. There's
But not in Biggleswade though. There's no other
Not-
Italian, is there, in Biggleswade?
yeah,
Or there's
there is one now, but
oh, don't say the
just
name.
open. I won't.
No, don't advertise.
But they like Bedford has got the highest population of Italians in the whole country, so there's hundreds there. You look at the menus, it's pretty much choosing one would be difficult because they're all the same thing,
Yeah.
very similar. We don't want to do that. We want to branch out, and I think the only way you can ever get somewhere is by having a slightly unique idea and going with that. So we've given ourselves a base to build on with in that sense, I hope. So
I'm still thinking about the Christmas pizza.
I know. I had that in the back of my mind. Do you have cranberry on it?
yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. So it's got, I think
Good stuff.
it's a gravy base and it's got turkey, cranberry sauce, Brussels, stuffing,
That sounds like one I'd roll up.
Bacon, I think.
That sounds like one I'd roll up.
Pigs in blankets.
Pigs in blankets.
Oh my
everything
days.
sounds good, but
If
the
that's
Brussels.
not a reason to get down to Nonno Joe's,
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
You can always take the Brussels off, swap it
Yeah.
for pineapple.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. They do
Sticks
swaps.
and
You hear that, guys? They'll swap it out for you.
We went on. We actually went on 3 counties with it on Christmas Eve 2 years ago, because it just made this little snippet in the sun about that big.
No
It was in
way.
the sun, and then 3 counties picked it up and got in touch. We went on there and we took one in for them. So
we're definitely going to get one at Christmas.
If you want me back at Christmas, I'll bring you one in.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you, but the pizza
Just
will
the
be
pizza.
I'll
awesome.
send someone
No,
else.
we'll have a review. We'll have a review.
100% up for that. 100%.
Does sound good though, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
From a seasonal point of view, Christmas being an obvious one, is there any other modifications you make during the year?
Spooky pizzas on Halloween.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
Oh,
Halloween. Yeah,
guess.
we did like a little promo last year. We did a Halloween thing. We got like black pasta in, and we like made a gruesome looking pizza. I can't remember what we did now, but they had like spiders on it, I think. So yeah, we cut olives up to look like spiders and
Like eyeball mozzarella
yeah, there
balls
was
or
like-
something, maybe?
Oh, that's a good
This is a
idea.
good
Yeah, might have to nick that.
Welcome to it.
You heard it here
Pattern
first.
it, pattern it.
Yeah. So yeah, we did like Halloween thing. We used like I think it's squid ink pasta. It got this black pasta, and
Cool.
but it was horrible though. So no one bought it. So
Oh.
just there for effect. It was basically there for the Instagram photos.
Yeah.
And, it weren't. It was just there for the look. And
So you didn't do what I would have probably done in that situation, gone out and bought mass loads of it and then be sitting there with all this black pasta that you can't sell. That's what I used to do.
Basically.
No, that's what he done
I've still
with
got
about
3,000
6,000 baby grows.
I knew. I was going to say it because I knew he was going to bring it up.
Yeah,
I've
well,
still
the
got
only
all
reason
my
I bring it
shit.
up is because I've got a shed in my back garden, my little chill spot. And then this guy decides to unload like 3,000 baby grows in my chill spot. So now my
25
chill spot
boxes.
is about this big, and I've got baby grows around me.
They'll
all
come in
over.
handy one day. They will.
Yeah, he tried to. Basically, we had this
Hadn't been
idea.
busy then, or
He
what?
come into the office. Was it in the office or he come round mine?
it was round,
Come round mine. And all these baby grows. He's like, look, folds it up, puts it on his head. He's like, we turn them into masks. We'll sell them as masks.
I didn't. You're making the listeners think that I bought these solely to turn them into masks.
No,
I've
no,
had
they
these
didn't.
about 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So about 8 years ago, I was printing, and it was my own business, and I was buying blank polyester / cotton baby grows, and the polyester / cotton is a certain percentage of cotton and polyester for sublimation printing. So they're a specific material, which is why I had to get them made. And the place I was buying them from just completely sold out. And I had customers up in London, I had a few in Biggleswade that I was printing these baby grows for, and I needed them. I had a demand for them, but couldn't get them. So I ended up getting loads made, sent some off to this place I found in China, who done polyester / cotton t-shirts, said, could you make these? Boom. Year later, had them made, paid 3,500 quid for the actual product, and I could sell them for £2.50 each. I worked out I could make 50 grand if I sold them all, blank. No, not blank, with a print on them. If I sold each one with a print on, which was about £10 a baby grow with a personalised print on, 50 grand I'd have made. Didn't make that though, did I? Slowly but surely got shut down on eBay because some of the stuff was copyright, I suppose. Like, I was young, really young at the time. But yeah, a bit of Del Boy and Rodney moment there. I'm sitting with about 25 boxes of baby grows. But worst case scenario, we'll send them overseas for a charitable cause or something. They will get used. They're not going to get wasted. But it wasn't just the £3,500 I paid. I then got stamped with £6,000 airway bill on top of that. All right, so now I'm like loads of money down. Me and my stepdad. 'cause he backed me.
Dad's in it, yeah.
It's something I get reminded of. But this is like one of those risks. Like I suppose there was an element to what you done with setting up a business. It's a risk. I took a risk. It didn't pay it off, but it's not the be all and end all. Sometimes it's all about taking those opportunities, and when them opportunities come up, it may be a scary thought, but look, I'm still living.
Yeah, and even the thing that you might take forward from that is like not to do that again.
Yeah,
you've
don't
kind of
ever
eliminated
trust them.
something.
Well, he recognised the mistake that he made in Joe and saying, I'd have been that guy that bought 10,000 boxes of black pasta. See,
Yeah.
But now you're not going
I
to be
know,
that
I'm
guy.
not that guy.
You're not going to do it again, are you?
I am a bit of a hoarder still. That'll never change. But no, yeah, there's things that like prime example sitting there right there, like you took that risk with the business, boom, and I'd go as far as saying the most successful, if not best Italian that's ever been and will be
In Biggleswade.
Biggleswade,
I was trying to think of like an angle to come at this, and we're calling the podcast. We're going to do a few.
We've got a name for it already.
Local success.
Nice. Did
Yeah.
Adam have any input?
No,
on that?
this wasn't the name of the podcast that we're doing today. This
Okay.
is like a genre that we're doing. So we've got a couple
Playlist.
other companies coming in, and we're going to have this chat with them because it's nice to speak to people that. It was just so mad for me to see you at school. Like you say, you was a cover teacher, which I wanted to go into that. Like being a cover teacher at Stratton, how was that? Was that all right?
I loved it, yeah.
Well, even as a cover teacher?
I loved it.
Because I know
You have
cover
good
teachers
and
got
bad days,
slated.
but you have good and bad days, but it's on the whole, I did love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The good
I
days was
hear
when
that.
Jack was off.
I mean, yeah.
I
For
can't
me,
even,
it was,
I don't think I was that bad, was I?
It was what I liked was you'd go in, you don't know what you're going to get that day. Some days you'd have an amazing day. Like I used to love doing PE.
Yeah. Come on, up the
and,
boys.
You know, you're outside all day playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What more could you want? And you're getting paid for it.
And it's probably the subject that you meet the least amount of resistance, because I think a lot of the young people that might be in like geography, oh God, you know, or I don't want to hear about Henry VIII anymore or anything like that. You get a ball out. It's kind of like playing, isn't it? It's you getting out and about.
No, I always remember.
But
like,
then in the class that I had, they didn't choose PE. They thought doing PE when they didn't choose PE was the stupidest thing in the world. Why would they want to do PE when they haven't chose it? So they're being forced to do PE, which I don't know if you remember our class. They hated it. Like they'd be like, we'll do some football, like let's do some passing, and then just be whacking the ball at each other, and people just rugby tackling each other for no reason. It'd just be chaos. And I just remember thinking like, I should have definitely
I'd hate to be a
chosen
teacher.
PE. Because I actually enjoyed it. I actually love I'm not saying I'm great at them all, but I love pretty much all sports. Team sports I kind of don't really like. Don't like it when my team's letting me down. It does frustrate me.
It's a lot of sports are team orientated, so you don't
Skiing?
like us.
Golf, swimming, badminton.
All right.
Do you want to go through anymore?
No.
all right,
Can you play any of them? No, you don't play those.
No, I
ones, do you?
don't. Just reeled them off in my head.
It's good though. It was quick. It's off the cuff.
I know. But yeah, so then you went from a substitute teacher to like actually becoming a business person in the world, you know, set up, established. I think it's good to let people know, especially some of the young people that will be watching our program, and anyone that watches our program really. You can come from going to a substitute teacher,
Complete career change.
yeah,
like,
to seeing the Pasta King, like getting that idea, and then bang, you sort of spoke to some people you thought might be able to help you, and then led yourself off to how long has it been running? 6 years, did you say?
Yeah.
6 years to having like a big business, nice restaurant in Biggleswade, mate.
how long was you working before you started the restaurant? So you done the teaching assistant, and then what was you doing for the banking before that?
So yeah, I started the restaurant when I was 26. But I was, to be honest, I was looking at places for about 2 years before I actually opened one.
Really?
So I came back from Surrey when I was about 22, worked at the school till I left. I left in 2014, I think. So yeah, so I worked at the school till then. I was 26 then. But I'd been planning it for a couple of years whilst I was
something
still at
in
the
the back of your
school.
mind.
And like I was originally going to open in Hitchin, but I fought the council over like planning permission and stuff on this property for about 9 months. And I just gave up with it.
So what, would you take Biggleswade second choice?
Well, no,
Careful
it was more like I looked at I was looking at Biggleswade and Hitchin, and at the time there was nothing that was right in Biggleswade, and the property in Hitchin was a killer. It was like up Bucklersbury, right near the town centre, near all the pubs. It was a good location, but just weren't meant to be that.
Wasn't meant to be.
No, they're very strict in Hitchin on what they allow.
I want for a certain amount of percentages
so
for restaurants.
they make it very difficult if you want to change the use of anything. So basically with planning permission, I don't know if
I know about it,
if you understand it, but they you have to get a change of use on a property. So A1 is classed as a retail unit, so you know, clothes shops and bookstores, things like that. And then if you want a restaurant or a takeaway, they're separate categories. So you have to get like certain things in place to prove that you can meet that criteria. And Hitchin was it's quite an old building, and they wouldn't let us put a vent in.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't let us get the planning for it. So it was a battle, and you know the vent would have cost a fortune. So you had to take on this maze run to get out the ceiling. It was just a nightmare. So
Older the building, the harder it's going to be. Look at
Yeah.
this one. It's a listed building. We're not allowed hanging clips on the dado rail at the top is as much as what we can do.
Yeah, you can't even have blue tack on the
I
walls, can
remember
we?
when I was plastering, like the hassle we had on one job where we had to match a pebble dash with what was within that area. This was in Hitchin. No, sorry, it was Letchworth. Letchworth was in, and it was me, Kev, and there's a few of us on there, and we literally spent 3 days just doing these little panels next to one another. So then these people come out and go, that's a little bit like it. Well, no, it's still not going to look the same as paint. It was like, well, that's had 50, 60 years worth of paint on the top of what they've done. But they were so anal about it because it was the age of the building, the category of it or whatever. I don't understand it fully, but I know there's a lot of hurdles they'll make you jump over.
Yeah.
Just to do certain stuff. Like, that's what used to blow my mind about JCA Academy. You know, the where's the last one? Condover.
Yeah.
It's like a similar sort of building to this that we're in, the Shuttleworth Mansion House. It looks very similar. You walk in, it's like a nice open sort of mansion foyer. You go up the nice stairs, like the spiral type staircase. You've got 2 rooms, you walk in one. They've turned it into indoor caving. They've just got all these mad things like lasers on the walls and stuff. Like, how did you get around
permission,
this?
I know, that's what I thought as well.
But I suppose if you've got the money and you've got the patience, I suppose you can do it. But again, small businesses.
When you're starting something up, and you can't, like you say, it was only a vent that you needed to get your business off the ground, but that vent would have put you in a hole that weren't worth getting your business off, or you couldn't get your business off the ground.
Yeah,
sorry,
cool. I was going to say, like, these are my favourite stories, the ones where you like encounter a problem and you kind of find a way around.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side to all of this though is like some places will be too lenient on it, and then you get hundreds of the same thing just come into the town, and there's no stopping it. And
it's like hairdressers in Biggleswade.
It just saturates everything, doesn't it? And you know, you need the town for every business to survive. You need a bit of everything for people to come out, to get them out the door.
That reminds me of like the session that we run on NCS, the virtual
village.
So the young people they get a certain amount of points, and they've got to decide as a team of 15 young people, all have to get around a table and decide what they need in that village or that town to make it a success.
They get given a population, they get given like how many are over the age of 40, or all the different analytics, and then they get to choose, don't they? Hospital will be 30 points, a restaurant will be 15 points, blah, blah, and they get, 100 points, don't they? Yeah. But it is good to see them having these discussions, but it'll be similar to what those guys will be doing. Sort of
in more towns, some towns more so than others. It seems. I just like the fact that, again, because we promote this message to so many people, not just young people, but I know people that have been in a certain trade for say 8 years, 9 years, and they're just stuck, tunnel vision. That I don't like my job, hate my job, don't want to do it. Similar to what you said about your banking, it weren't for you. I'd done it with plastering for 9 years. I'm like, I knew from the first year it weren't for me. It just took me so much longer to get out. And halfway through my plastering career, I was already setting up my printing business, and then I started doing the 2. Similar to what you were saying, it's always been in the back of my mind, but there's people that shut that off completely because they know nothing else and they're too scared of taking that risk. But again, you've jumped from something completely different. Same as me. We're both sitting actually.
I've heard that story.
I think you have as well. It's all about, like, if you fully believe that you're in a job that you're not enjoying and it's not fulfilling what you need to get from it, jump ship and go for it. Take a risk. Just don't buy 3,000 baby grows. Just do something of it.
Small steps. Yeah. Small steps.
It can happen, and it's not too late. You might have been working in a trade for 10, 15 years, even longer. Like, there's always time to learn something else and do something that you enjoy, isn't there?
There's something about like taking that risk as well, and what it sounded like to me was that you surrounded yourself with people. Like, you know, taking a risk kind of on your own might be a little bit more scary, but like even going back to what you said about your manager, that she had the idea about what it was going to look like, which I would assume maybe you're not such a visual person, or you didn't see that. Like, I'm not a visual person. I'd be lousy at that. But you've got someone in your team that is like, okay, yeah, we need that, you know, and they're able to present that vision, and there it is. So it's always, I think, the success is just surround yourself with the right people. And
absolutely. I mean, her particularly, she started off as the head chef, and she was a trained cook. So she come in, and from the start, she's just had this idea, and we've sort of clicked on like that level where she's got like the part of the brain that I don't have. So
same as
anything visual, the food, you know, she takes that on. She's just amazing with it, and I trust her wholeheartedly to do it. And I just sort of deal with the business side of things now.
The organisational stuff.
Well, not even that. I mean, she does most of it, to be honest.
What do you do?
Now.
It's got his name on it, hasn't it?
I don't really do much.
That's my name in it. Actually, no, it was your granddad's. You liar.
Just go in there and chat to people, really. I get told off for that, because they're like, can you do this for me? I'm chatting away and always getting in trouble. But no, but it just sort of works. Yeah, it's definitely about finding that right person to help you along the way. And
it definitely needs that though, that chatty person. I think that makes it a more of a family sort of feel to it and more
personal.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's a small. All right, Biggleswade's getting a lot bigger than what it was when you probably first opened, like with all the new buildings and stuff going up. Like I don't even know my way around Biggleswade, some of the places now. But having that small sort of vibe, that feel, and having that friendly face, someone they know that's approachable and that's up for having a little bit of a chit chat. It does go a long way. It does go a long way. And I don't doubt for a second that businesses out there have failed miserably because they've missed a simple ingredient like that. The customer support and service, not support, the customer service.
Or the wrong people, maybe.
Just the wrong person.
Just don't have the right elements in your team.
Yeah, I mean, we pick our staff purely on their personality. Like
Same
when we
as
do front of house recruitment, we don't care what experience they've got because we know that we can train the right person.
Yeah.
And we just base it on who they are.
Yeah, we do the same
Nothing
thing pretty much, don't we?
Yeah, it's a big, massive element. Obviously, there's certain skills and experiences and stuff for the team leads and stuff. But actually, if they're coming through as a team assistant, and we know that we could potentially work with that person, it is that. People say don't judge a book by its cover and stuff like that, which we don't do that. We have assessment days and interviews and stuff. But just because someone hasn't got the experience as what Joe blogs as on their CV, if we like their personality and know that actually with the right training, these guys could be really, really good at what we do and what we require them to do, then we're going to give them the go. Yeah, it's not all about what's on that piece of paper, is it? 100%.
That's it. Some people just need that little step, don't they? Yeah. They need a little chance. So you can't be anything.
Exactly what we were talking about with transitions. Was it when we was talking to transitions? It's just that little bit of guidance, that little step, that stepping stone, because most people have got what it takes, but it's actually the confidence, the support networks and stuff that they're lacking. And that self-belief. You was talking about it with the mentoring, weren't you?
Yeah, and quite often I think like that you had that initial idea, the pasta
the pasta king.
I can't believe you got it from that because I hated that pasta king.
Yeah, so did I.
But it's something that introduced the idea, and I think like when we look at ourselves as a company, we wanted to get counselling in schools, and I think we started off with like addiction-y type stuff. Neither of which we're really doing at the moment. It's mainly kind of NCS. So I think all you need is kind of the idea to kind of set you on the path of where you're supposed to be. I'm a bit of a fatalist. I believe in all that sort of stuff. But as we're kind of perhaps starting to wrap up a bit at the moment, I had a couple of points that I wanted to bring to you. So one of them is, I'm a big fan of Scorsese, right? Movies, Italian, all that sort of stuff, right? So I'm going to hit you with a stereotype, whether it's real or not.
Okay,
like, you let me know, right? So he's sort of famous for like doing his movies, and he's got his mum in it, and he uses his mum's like special sauce recipe whenever he's doing it. Have you got like an older Italian person within the family that's got like a handed down like recipe or way of doing things?
That's it, yeah.
You are nodding. You have.
It's come all the way down.
What is it? What have you got?
It's the tomato sauce.
It's the tomato sauce.
Usually the tomato sauce, yeah.
Yeah.
It's come down through generations.
That is so cool, isn't it?
Everyone
cool. I like that.
will make it the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're going to tell us the secret ingredient?
But yeah,
I felt like Plankton then from, was it SpongeBob? The
secret formula.
The bottom line is using good tomatoes. I mean, it comes down to that at the end of the day. But
I love that idea. Like I picture sort of like an older lady with white hair with a black dress on, sort of thing, slaving over a pot kind of thing. You know, she's doing it off by art. She's done it millions of times before. I like that idea. The other point was, in the coming weeks, what would you as a restaurant owner recommend people eat or drink or have at your restaurant? What have you got going on at the moment that you think, right, that's killer, that we need people?
Pineapple and pepperoni pizza. It's a new one. It's coming out, I'm telling you.
I mean, that's always worth a go. You can create your own one. Like, we do create your own. You can make whatever you want on it. We've seen some nasty creations. We've seen some good ones. But we've launched a load of cocktails lately, and they're going really well. Some of the names, I don't know the age group that listen to this, but they're probably a little bit questionable.
We don't know. No one at the minute, do they? Anyone, put a comment in the comment section, be like, how old are you? How old are you?
If you're 12, don't comment.
One we've got is called a golden shower.
Oh,
so it's really popular. People
I thought you were going to say sex on the beach, and I'd be like, that sounds all right, but whoa.
It's it's
golden
got a bit one more. And there's another one called Bend Over Karen. And that's our most popular one by far. That's like
there's two names I never would have guessed. So you said, guess what they're called? Never in a million.
Did you make them up?
Back to Tasha, she's the manager. She's done that.
But I mean the names.
I tested them, but that's it.
But look, these aren't cocktails you Googled and thought, oh, I like the sound of that. Or are these what cocktails you come up with and someone thought, do you know what? That tastes like Bend Over Karen.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that would taste like. I don't think it'd taste like this. But yeah, she's as I say, she was a trained chef, so we've literally sat there one night near the end of a shift, and she's gone, I want to do some new cocktails. So I was like, oh, well, I'll test them. And so I must drank 10 cocktails in a row trying to get the right.
Didn't make it home that night.
Yeah, like 10 golden showers that night. Weren't feeling too great the next day, but yeah.
I love that, man. It's like somebody that just goes, right, I want to do this, or I want to do that. And you're like, yeah, tell me about it, that kind of thing. Like the creativity flowing around this.
Yeah, but again, that's what I mean. Again, there'll be someone out there in the sort of like in your position that'd be like, no, they wouldn't even accept any sort of like.
This is my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll decide what's going on. Yeah.
You ain't coming in here and start decorating my place and start making up cocktails. But actually doing that and letting someone else in is just sparking all this sort of
especially when you bounce off each other. It's so much better, isn't it?
Teamwork.
You know, it grows when you're with all the same people all the time. You do sort of you get to know people so well, and you know who you trust. And the team we've got now, you know, it's taken a while to get it to how it is, but they are. I wouldn't change a single one of them.
A team.
Yeah, you know, in the past we've always had weak links, and now I don't think we've got one. Nice. It's really good. You know, the kitchen team are amazing now. How they cope with the amount of, you know, the cooking, the prep, the orders, timing the deliveries, and getting them out in time. It's
working.
It's unreal, and you know, it's all just quite well oiled at the moment. Yeah. But you learn the people you can work with, the people that are good at certain things.
Business,
You know, try and play to your strengths. And
do you ever just sit there and just like think about where you've sort of come from on the start of the business, and you sit there in your restaurant and just like, how have I built all this?
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, you sort of. I mean, I don't like the word lucky because you have to walk the path to.
No, yeah, obviously the hard work's gone in.
I think like. If there is like the young people listening to it, I think that are scared of change. Like you say, you did your plastering, you knew you didn't want to do it, but you stuck at it. I'd say just change your path and walk a different one because you just don't know what's coming. I know it sounds really cliche.
No, but it's so
listening
true.
to someone say that is like one of them. But it's like it is so true.
Ain't going to get pasta from that guy no more.
It can't be any worse than getting up and hating your day every single day
exactly
you're here.
that.
You just got to go. Like it's not about money at the end of the day. Just that'll come if you enjoy what you're doing and you're good at it.
Yeah, literally.
I don't think you can be good at something you don't enjoy, really.
No. And your audience will tell you that. It must be nice, sort of look around the audience and people are like, you know, you drop the plate in front of them and they're like, it's amazing. All that. I like that feeling. Like somebody taught me this concept of feed the eyes first. Feed the eyes, eyes. Get that on there, like before you've even eaten a mouthful. You're like, mouth is watering. My mouth's watering.
Yeah.
I know. So you bought some food in, yeah?
No, we are definitely going to have to get one time though soon. We'll get a company order going, and we'll do a little review because they're banging pizzas. So, actually, the pasta's good as well, but I can't go on about the pasta because I love the pizzas. Endlessly.
Just tell me when the Christmas pizza's out and we'll put it all on social media. Also, I was going to say, you said you've got a solid team, happy with staff and that, so there's no room for any young people to maybe get a job in the future, or is there potentially open up? Do you take on more staff?
Absolutely. I mean, people in this world, it's kind of, you know, you lose people to uni, they'll go get full-time 9 to 5, you know, hospitality is quite grueling. It's not for everyone because you've got late hours, long days, and it's pretty intense. You know, you're really up close and personal with customers, and you need to. You know, it's not for everyone.
No.
So you know, some people like want to change. So there's always jobs coming up, and you know, we recruit through Facebook really because it just seems
got
to
a lot
work
of attention on that.
Yeah, so you know, we've built that up quite a lot over the years, and it does get a lot of widespread now. So
nice. We'll add all the links and stuff at the end. Any links and stuff will be in the description. So check out the Facebook page. Is it just Facebook that you guys are on, or is it?
We've got Instagram as well. We've got a Twitter which I haven't ever used, but
oh no, I'm not really on Twitter.
Now Facebook is the one. That's the one that I follow, and I get all the updates, all the pictures, all the new menus and stuff like that. Definitely the ones to check out.
Nice. Yeah.
Can you leave us with one meal? I've got my lunch coming up. It's a salad. It's not that exciting. Can you get my mouth watering with one recipe? Walk me through it. We've got this, we've got that.
Recipe.
Go on.
Taking him back to his cooking days, isn't he?
To be right, to be honest, at the moment, I would just buy the sharing platter because it's got everything on it.
Tell me.
So it's like a grazing board. They're sort of in trend at the moment. There's loads of them going around. So on here, you've got your mozzarella sticks, you got halloumi.
Oh, that's the one.
Arancinis. Do you know, I might be telling you the wrong things here because I don't even know.
Don't worry.
It's got rosemary fries on it, which, like, honestly, our fries get amazing reviews. They are ridiculous.
Oh, I know the ones you're talking about. Actually,
They're
they got the
really
little would you say it's spice? It's like
herbs.
Yeah, it's
herbs.
it's rosemary and salt, and they're just, I don't know, they're just well good. Really simple idea, but it's so nice.
Yeah, they are.
It's just a mixture of all the starters basically on one plate, and it's, I wouldn't share it personally. I'd go all in and try.
Sounds like a good starting point to get everyone in.
Yeah. Don't share the sharing platters.
Dips, loads of dips and all sorts, a bit of everything there.
What time's it open today?
We're open at 5 tonight.
Oh, come on, man. 12 o'clock.
Where's that lunchtime menu? It's been nice.
Right.
I am definitely hungry now, though.
Yeah, I could definitely eat something like that.
I've got a banana.
Nice.
Guys are healthier, aren't you? He's on his pineapple, he's your banana.
I've just got a banana.
Salad.
No, I'm on a budget. I haven't been paid yet, so I literally spent out this
Get
month.
rid of some of them baby grapes.
Don't say that again. No, I'll have them till I die.
I reckon you
They'll
will,
be on
mate.
my
They'll be on my
Just
kids.
have a lot of
kids, yeah. How many kids are you having?
Oh yeah, I won't wash them. I'll just throw them away.
Yeah, one.
At least someone will use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, go on. Adam.
Right, before we
Let you
finish
do
up,
it.
we've got our little links here that we do at the end. So just a reminder to everyone that we're on Anchor at the moment, which is where the RSS feed starts, but what you've got there is several of the podcasts on other platforms. So Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts. We've also got a new one this week called Breaker. I've never heard of it either. I can imagine everyone sort of saying that. But yeah, we're on all of those at the minute. We're still working on the iTunes one. So your starting point is anchor.fm/Hear2Listen CIC.
No Spotify?
Spotify, I seem to have missed off my list, but that's an excellent point. Yeah, thank you, Jack.
The main one.
The main one.
I'm going to be correcting a document in about 10 minutes' time. But yeah, Spotify as well. And obviously, we're on YouTube. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
It's true.
All right. Cool. That's it from me.
Yes,
Thank you.
Do you want to hit the music? Let's do
Get
it.
the music.
Howdy.
What about our sign-off, Jack?
We've been
here to listen.
There we go.